Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome in Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon, as we have plenty of things to get to here as we recap the weekend. We'll have the best and worst of the weekend presented by Looper Auction and Realty. Of course, we'll have a little vibe check into the chat presented by Basis Health. Who's our heavy hitter presented by HD Roofing and Construction, and as well as get into all the things that happened, especially with the nonsensical stuff with BetSaracen too of all the sports weekend. But it's going to be a great show. But fellas, how was the weekend? How are we feeling today on this Monday? Hopefully everyone survived the storms all right.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm doing great, in a oddly good mood for a Monday. But the weekend kind of sucked, man. I mean, it was just storming, and I feel like we had 4 days in a row where it was hailing, and I don't know, it was just kind of a drag. Couldn't really get out of the house too much, but made the most of it. Enjoyed Easter, had a good meal, and hanging in there, doing good.
It was a little bit of a downtrodden weekend. Yesterday I had a good day, but it took me a while to mentally, win that battle and start talking myself into enjoying myself a little bit. Plus Hillary was out of town, so I was alone, and it was, just by Sunday I was ready for the weekend to be over. I just wish we had a spring game to talk about, but unfortunately we do not.
Yeah, that's man, could have led off the show with that. But yeah, we could have talked about that, and we are going to talk about at least a part of it not happening. But there's the stuff, man. There's football, there's basketball, there's baseball, there's all the stuff in the Razorback landscape. So it's going to be fun to discuss. But yeah, the weekend with the weather and everything, it just kind of throws everything out on weirdness. Whether it's the baseball series, where I know we talked about it at the end of the shows last week when we were at Alumni Hall, just man, you're going to have an entire baseball series completed by the end of Friday night. It's just a weird thing. And then not having the spring game or anything involving the spring game because of weather was really tough. And then, of course, the ongoing stuff with transfer portal and basketball. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? And Curtis, I know we need to have a funeral for your whole take and your whole pot at the palace, everything about Nate Ament, and you no longer having to talk about him. I'm sorry. I know you were looking forward to that all week long of being asked about that question, but he's going to Tennessee, man. I'm sorry. You're just going to have to move on. What
the hell am I supposed to do now? How is the pot at the palace supposed to live on without having to mention Nate Ament every day? That way I don't get yelled at in the comments. Good for him. Rumor has it that he's going to be the next Kevin Durant under Rick Barnes. So happy for him. Happy that he's getting the money that Tennessee couldn't afford to pay Nico. And I'm sure it's just going to be a great situation over there for him.
Congrats to Nico on his commitment to UCLA, by the way. But yeah, absolutely. Nate Ament doesn't necessarily strike me as the most Tennessee player of all time.
No, that's going to be an interesting one. Yeah, that's an interesting fit. But I guess on one hand, it's if the biggest knock on a player, the biggest question mark, I guess you should say, is physicality and toughness. If you have it in you, Rick Barnes will get it. So I guess there's that part of it, but usually he just brings in guys who possess those traits already. So yeah, it's going to be kind of an interesting fit to see how that works there. I know that they were, or at least he said they were selling him on the, you're just going to have the Dalton Connect and Chaz Lanier role. Okay. Well, let's see how that goes. Very, very, very talented freshman. I just don't know if he's there yet.
Yeah, when I started seeing the thing of I'll go coaching Kevin Durant, I can be that guy. I was just okay, all right, I get what you're trying to say, I get it, but
yeah,
all right, man. It's I'm not saying this is exactly how he is because I feel like there may be some traits, but it goes back to the whole thing of people see this guy's a certain height and a certain weight, and he has a wingspan of that. Therefore, Kevin Durant. It's it may have some elements to it, but. Just throw it out there that once in a generation type of offensive scoring threat, not only in college basketball, but also in the NBA. I feel like you could throw that a little willy nilly around, maybe just wait and to see what he's actually capable of. But
yeah, I'd hold off on that one a little bit. There are a lot of very talented, skinny freshmen that I would turn to before I was comparing somebody to KD, but
yeah, just a few, but. Now it just becomes of what's the next step here? I know, still doing transfer portal things. It's just, again, I bring it up, but every day just seeing the amount of players so-and-so's entered into the portal. I'm like, okay, well, what happened? Was he just hanging out in his team for 2 weeks, and then suddenly the team comes to him like, hey, we don't want you on the team, and then he hops into the portal? Or is it, timing is everything, I think, is what's pretty fascinating. And, I know that you do it every day on Pod at the Palace, Curtis, but when it comes to just the players that Arkansas would look at, I was at the baseball game. Someone was like, so who's the next player we're going to get? We're going to get Jameer Watkins and everything. I was like, honestly, man, I don't know, because for all I know, the player that Arkansas is going to get next might not even be in the portal yet. I mean, it's just a crazy fluid thing where, everything's been great last week. At the end of it was a great news and great excitement and been building up. In fact, at the baseball game, that what a lot of people were talking about was just the retention of everything. But I guess just because of how it all went down, it's a matter of, I'm just going to sit back and relax and watch it all come together, because that's what happened before and it all worked out. And I think it'll be the same thing too.
Yeah, no, you're spot on there. That was like the exact topic of the pod today, is like Arkansas is in a pretty good position here, because some teams have spent up all their budget and they're not going to be able to be in the bidding wars for like the Chad Baker Mazzaras and Jameer Watkins of the world. Or like, I'm sure there's going to be another handful of really good players that hit the portal between now and the time it closes tomorrow. Some people aren't going to have the money to do it. Some are in a position to where, like, stuff happens over the course of the last 30 days here. Like, they might have lost a guy that they were really counting on having back, or, had more guys hit the portal or go pro than they expected, or they, like, missed on some top targets in the portal because they got outbid by somewhere else. And so they have to like panic buy, and get themselves into tough situations there. I think Arkansas is in a good spot to where they've just got a really strong foundation. Like, you got your core of guys back from the Sweet 16 team. You got a couple McDonald's All-Americans. You went out and solved your front court issues, and you just have a really solid group of guys right now, to where you're fine. You don't have to panic. You don't have to rush into anything. You're a couple pieces away, and you can just kind of sit back, let the market play out, see who becomes available over the course of the next couple days, and then strike the way you see fit. And it might take a little bit longer than people want to, but Arkansas is in a position to where they don't have to rush into anything here. And they really, in my opinion, I think you're one big piece and then, a little bit of specific depth away from, I see them in those, like, these top 10 rankings and everything. I think that they're a piece or two away from really, really solidly being there when all the rosters are put together.
I was just about to ask you, and then you said it right there at the end. Do you feel like this is shaping up for there's like one more big fish for Arkansas to go after, and then maybe one more just guy to fill out the roster, fill in a specific skill set? And whether it's a Chad Baker Mazzara, whether it's a Jameer Watkins, of course, that would be my ideal option. But I've talked myself all the way to Chad Baker Mazzara. Like, if that ends up being the big fish that Arkansas brings in, I'm all in on that. Bring in a brim protector, and we'll call it a day. At least Arkansas is not filling out their roster with a bunch of bench guys.
We see teams who are doing that, but yeah, you're right.
It could be so much worse, man. Yeah, imagine that. I wonder what the poor people are doing. Oh, well, they're just filling bench players with the roster and saying it's great. That's honestly, that's the point where I'd probably do this anyway, but I just want everyone to know I'm really going to do it. That whoever Arkansas adds, I don't care who it is, it's going to be like, championship. This is it. They could add a guy that's just an extra depth piece that may be the 12th man. Like, nope, great. That's exactly what I wanted to see, that they're on their way. And everybody tries to get themselves hyped up and excited for all of that. But seeing some of the players get added to certain teams and then some of the numbers getting thrown around for the amount of money that's getting thrown around or reportedly getting thrown around. And you mentioned the phrase, I think, that keeps getting brought up, Curtis, of spending their budget or having all their money gone. That's the fascinating thing, where I don't know if Arkansas has just a set budget. Like, it's like, hey, this is the limit. We can't go over this. I'm sure that they do in some capacity, but part of me just wants to believe that whatever John Calipari needs, John Tyson's going to provide. If a $50 million is that's what it takes to get a national championship caliber winning roster, I truly believe that Tyson would find a way. He may have to fire some people, but he's going to find a way to make it happen.
Yeah, that's very true. And we had some folks asking me about, like, could Arkansas afford to get like Chad Baker Mazzara and Jameer Watkins? Like, could they afford to do it? Like, yeah, of course they could. If they wanted to, they absolutely could, man. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Now, are they going to do anything silly in terms of These guys they've got offers for $3 million. We're going to give them 4.5 and just make sure they're not going to go crazy. John Calipari doesn't operate that way. Either one of those guys could probably have, more solidified opportunities elsewhere. I'm not saying they are going to do that. I don't expect them to, but could they afford to? Of course they could, man. Yeah. And a lot of people think that they'll wind up probably in that $10 to $12 million range with the payroll. That's a lot. I mean, that'll be up there in the top 10, top 5 of the country when all is said and done. But yeah, there's not a set budget right now. There might be in the future with everybody if they try to get this stuff passed, but people are trying to spend now and really put together these big time rosters. I saw that I can't remember which outlet it was, but some dude from Kentucky was saying that he's heard that Kentucky could spend upwards of $20 million in NIL this year, which if that's the roster you get for $20 million, then I mean, good on you. But yeah, there's no, point where I would think that they would just have to cap it, we just can't do this. Not happening.
We do this in pretty much every sport where we overanalyze Arkansas to the point where we're like, oh man, we need X, Y, and Z because everyone else has X, Y, and Z. And then you look around and you're like, not a lot of X, Y, and Z going around. Like there's not a ton of teams that have a roster full of 10, 11, 12 legitimate guys. And like you said, Curtis, if Kentucky's spending $20 million on your roster, like I don't know where that money is going. Like I don't think Aberdeen cost $3 million. I can't imagine some of these other guys that they're bringing in, like, nice players. I think Kentucky's going to have a fine roster, but it's not like this deep pockets type of roster. And we saw the figures not too long ago about how there's going to be at least 10 teams in college basketball spending $10 million, and Hog fans we're kind of worried about that. I think you look around the country, I don't know if you can find too many teams that like definitively have been spending more money than Arkansas and are going to end up with a roster that is just like way richer. They put in way more money than Arkansas. Like I think Arkansas is going to finish pretty well in that regard. The roster right now, it certainly ain't a cheap one. Pretty much every player on the roster costs money.
Yeah, it's that's very true. I think people forget that the retention aspect of this has cost Arkansas money as well, because they just see like the 2 transfer portal additions, or I think, oh yeah, those 2 McDonald's All-Americans aren't coming for free. The guys who are coming back on your roster are all getting raises. I mean, we know that to be a fact. What's interesting about Arkansas, I think, comparatively to others, like some people have gone out. I've seen a lot of people throwing out the $2.7 million number for Lamar Wilkerson in Indiana. If that's true, that is, that's a lot, man. But when I look at Arkansas's roster right now, it feels like all the rotation guys are probably about right in that same range. Like I bet it averages out to about $1 million per guy, honestly. With some making a little bit more, some making a little bit less, but I don't know. And maybe I'm crazy, but I don't know that I see a guy on that roster just yet that's like, oh, that dude, 2.5. Like last year, we knew that Nelly and Jonas were very, very well taken care of from that front. I don't see anybody with that separation right now. And there could be a case where that just doesn't happen the rest of the way, but I know that they're motivated to make one more pretty significant impact addition. That might be the one that costs them. Like if you get Jameer Watkins, he's going to cost more than anybody else that's on that roster right now. If you get Chad Baker-Mazara, he will too, although I don't think his price tag is as much as some people are leading it on to be. And then we'll see what else comes available here. But it is interesting that it seems to be a pretty decent balance right now on the NIL front for the Arkansas guys, in my opinion. Hell, I don't know for sure. None of us really know what these guys are getting paid. You just hear the ballparks and you kind of put the averages together and you're like, all right, I guess that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, listen, it doesn't matter how much they're making, because I know that Malik Ewan as well as Nick Pringle, they came here for the Hogs, and that's what it is. It's the only thing that matters. It's just what Razorback on their jersey.
But it's logo over ego, baby. That's what you have here.
That's right. Well, and that's what's kind of funny about it, where you think it just, and I don't think you can use this for any sport, but you could usually tell of like who has the best, or at least a huge amount of NIL money. Like nobody's going to have a program. Like it could be a program that's not historical. I look at Texas Tech, and nobody take offense to this, but Texas Tech is not a historically great basketball program. Texas Tech doesn't have this big time Hall of Fame coach. I think he's a good coach, but just saying, not to this established Hall of Fame coach. Lubbock isn't exactly a destination and all that, but look at what they're doing in the portal, and look at what they're doing. That means because they have NIL. Like no one's going to Texas Tech because of just, I've always wanted to go to Lubbock. It's because they have the NIL to back it up. So you can be a very small potatoes, quote, program, but if you have the NIL, you're going to get the players. But if you have coaches and really good coaches and facilities and support and all that, but you don't have the high level NIL, you're not going to get the big players. Like, it's just how it is. And that's the key indicator there. And there's other programs that are in the same boat. But with Arkansas, again, you got Cal. Cal's not going to be at a program. He's not going to be the coach of a program that does not put him in a position to get the best players when he wants the best players. It's just a matter of piecing it all together. And I think the retention thing that you bring up too, Curtis, is extremely important, because sometimes people just want the new shiny stuff, but they forget about the good stuff that they still got in the garage. You know, they want a new car, but they forget about, hey, you still got a Lamborghini in the garage. It just is a year old and still runs great and is going to really help you out. So
don't you
people need to remember
forget
that.
about Downhill Bill. Don't you dare. He's back, baby.
Is that his nickname, or is that new? Okay. I love it. The Downhill Bill. I'll take it. I'll take it all day long. Yeah, folks, we're going to get into everything that happened over the sports weekend, again, with the transfer portal. I do want to bring this up before we get into the chats and best worst of the weekend and everything. But we get brought up the spring game not happening, and it was a disappointment, to say the least, for a lot of people. And I don't even know if it was necessarily the spring game that was really disappointing as much as it was the festivities surrounding it. And I wanted to play this video because I feel like there's a lot of folks that are upset, or at least that I've dealt with, a good amount of folks that are upset. And I want to play this video real quick. This was Sam Pittman last week and talking about the potential weather and the storms and everything that could happen, and what would be the alternative if those things ended up happening.
If it's a downpour or lightning or something like that, then what we would do is we'd have a lengthy autograph session, meet the team.
Okay, so that's what was going on right there. That they would have a lengthy autograph session that was indoors, meet the team and all that. Well, then Saturday morning, they just we canceled everything. See you. Just, I know I don't feel like the spring game is just heck of an important thing, but it just felt like that was a very done. See you later. We needed some reason to get out of this, and we got out of it. So see you later. That's the vibe that it gave off. And I think a lot of Razorback fans were upset, especially about the autograph thing, because one of the few times that people actually get able to interact with the Razorback players. And as someone brought up in the chat, one of the few things that's actually free for people to go to and to be able to have. Now it's all gone.
Yeah. And from a not playing the spring game standpoint, I 100% get it. And I support that. I know that it so happened to not be raining or whatever at 1:00 or whenever it was they were going to play it. But the field was a mess. There were storms and stuff in the forecast the entire day. The last thing you want for a glorified practice or whatever is to get out there on a crappy field and get guys injured. So I get it from that standpoint. I think the part that was frustrating to me about it was, you saw the forecast and you waited until late in the morning to make that announcement, where people were already driving. And then, like Sam said, hey, if we can't play, we're still going to do this autograph session thing. And so it was like we were talking about before we got on, a lot of people were probably under normal circumstances with the weather. They might be like, screw that, man. Like, I'm not getting in the car and driving to Fayetteville for this. But a lot of people probably did anyway, because they thought, well, hey, worst case, they don't play, but my kid will be able to get Taylon Green's autograph, or, whoever. And then that got canceled too, after you already said that you were going to do it. So that was the part that kind of sucked to me. I get it, not playing the game, but I wish they could have come up with something a little bit better there. And I just wish that, it's whatever. I'm not trying to nitpick, but it would have been nice if they could have got some kind of statement or, a video or something from Sam, like just addressing the fans, as opposed to, here's a graphic, it's raining, see you in the fall kind of deal. That's my only thing.
The see you in the fall aspect of it kind of was weird to me. And like you said, get Sam Pittman to sign his autograph on a little statement or whatever, put out a little, sorry fans, blah, blah, blah. Another thing is, we all saw the rain in the forecast all week long. The three of us, by the way, we weren't traveling. We live in Fayetteville. We were planning on going to the game, and we were like, all right, but there's rain. It might not happen. They might move to the indoor. We were kind of aware of this. They waited until a couple hours before. And so it's like the fact that they waited kind of made me think, oh, damn, they really are going to play this game. Like, there had been no word from the university, whatever. And so I woke up Saturday morning thinking there was going to be a game. And now, of course, we live in Fayetteville. A lot of people that don't live in Fayetteville that were probably traveling. And I saw a bunch of tweets of, I got my two boys, they're devastated and blah, blah, blah. Why, if you were going to cancel the game, because by the way, they canceled it and it didn't even really end up raining. I get being cautious and all that, but if you were going to wait this long to cancel it, that made me think that, like, hey, you're going to do everything you can to get it in. But the fact that they waited so long and then canceled it a couple hours before almost came across to me as like, we don't really care if people come to this, which, by the way, that's the vibe of spring games all around the country. This is not an Arkansas specific issue, but it just sucks. Cause like, if you show us that you don't care, how are we supposed to care? If you're like, hey, it doesn't matter to us whether or not y'all show up. It doesn't matter whether or not we're not even going to market that this game is happening. We're just going to hope that people do show up. And then if the sun's out, we'll play. And if not, but if you don't care, how are we supposed to care? And there were like people like us, we were kind of trying to force ourselves to care. And the U of A was like, no, make no mistake. You do not need to care. Which is, I'm not going to I don't really care too much about the spring game. I just hate that that relationship between U of A and fans and media and everybody, every media person I've talked to when it comes to spring football has been disgusted. They're like, it just sucks how nobody even goes to the practices anymore because they don't let you film anything. They don't let you talk. They don't let you report anything. And so it's I don't know if fans have noticed, there's been less coverage of spring practice ever in the history of the University of Arkansas football since the media has been covered spring. Nobody's covering it at all. We all kind of thought, in the three of us, we kept saying, hey, we're not going to really care too much, but we'll go to the spring game and we'll do a video on it and we'll do all that. And then they didn't do that, which, weather happens, but it just came across to me like they didn't really care one way or the other whether fans showed up, whether fans paid attention to the team. And if you're going to do that, that's how we're going to operate. And so not going to hurt, not going to be too much sweat off my back. We're just going to move on and not care about spring football like we did before.
And think about the differences from even just last year. Because last year it was at least 2, maybe 3 just open Saturday scrimmages there in the stadium where it's like, hey, fans, come in, watch if you want to. And that was in addition to the spring game. You know what I mean? And so you didn't even get that. And, I'm sure they wound up doing something anyway. They probably had their quote unquote spring game in the practice facility or in the indoor or whatever. I don't know, couldn't just put together a cool little highlight video or something just to give folks something, but I don't know. That was wild. Yeah. And then the release was just we'll do an autograph session sometime in the fall. See ya.
Yeah. No statement. Give a little statement, whether it's from the U of A, whether it's from Pittman, fake something, give at least some type of statement rather than see you in the fall.
Yeah. Cause listen, in programs and especially at a place like Arkansas and everything, fans and the fans feeling should not at least dictate the energy and excitement of the program within the program itself. It needs to be the opposite. The program is what provides excitement. Now, obviously, certain elements make things more exciting. Like, for instance, big time players out of the portal that are coming in the spring or coming off of a big season, a new head coach. There's a lot of things that can provide that energy and excitement. Well, none of that happened. So you got to figure out something creative. You got to do something to kind of set that precedent of having the excitement and energy surrounding the program. And I know that we had basketball going on, baseball going on. I'm not sitting here saying it should have been priority number 1 and everything would have just been all great. But spring football's over, guys. And we're sitting here just like everybody else. What do we know? Do we know anything? Does anybody care? You put out a couple of highlights of a catch and throw. We saw Taylon Green and Cam Ball singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" at baseball. That might have been the most viral thing of spring football. Was at a baseball game when your 2 big-time returning captains of offense and defense, respectively, saying, "Take me out to the ball game." And then you have one thing where, as you said, and I think it was the key point, Andrew, is you're right. You came out and you got to provide that excitement and energy for people, because if you don't, the fans sure are not going to. It's not their job to create their own excitement about it. You have to provide it. And time again, we've seen many examples of it. It just feels like they're doing things because they have to. But if they have an excuse or a reason to get out of it, they're out. Oh, rain, boom. We got to, because I'm telling you guys right now, I don't know how many spring football games you've been to in Arkansas, and the weather was a little dicey. But I've been to a lot worse weathered spring games than what would have been here on Saturday. That game in Little Rock under Chad Morris when it was 29 degrees. And snowing?
It was snowing, and there was still a spring game in freaking War Memorial. And now, look, that was a bad experience. To your point, they're not opposed to doing it. And also, not to make this about us, if you want people to be excited about your football team, why don't you let people in who will tell the masses, oh, man, we love this football team. Oh, we got to see so-and-so run the ball the other day. Oh, this DB is looking good. But they don't want that, And so.
I know. And it's just disappointing because it's like, how are people going to get excited and be able to have any sort of excitement on their own if you just seem to not want that? It just comes across that way, whether it's true or not. It just comes across like you don't want anyone to be pumped up, excited, energized for football. See you in the fall. What that tells me is we're going to go crawl back into our hole. Hopefully you guys don't talk about us ever again. See you in the fall. Like that's kind of the vibe that it gives. So I feel bad though for the fans that were actually wanting to, because the autograph session is a cool thing. I don't care what anybody says. Like, I mean, I know the team and the program, not people are feeling great about it, but like that's like the one time fans are going to be able to interact with the team ever. You're not going to hear from them much in press conferences or anything like that. But either way, just disappointing. Just really disappointing that it all came down to that. So, like, I don't even know. Will we even hear from Pittman again till SEC football media days? Do we even hear anything from him again? Probably not.
I don't know. I really don't care.
Yeah. Well,
anytime we get to, talking about this situation, we just get into being pissed about it because it's just the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to change. It is what it is. It's disappointing. And I'm over it. It's whatever.
I just want the fans to remember in the fall when things go awry and we're being told that we're mean and blah, 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 that we were shunned. And that's why we're salty. And when it's not just us that were shunned, it was the fans that were shunned. They keep telling us, don't care about football.
Oh, well, that's all right.
Mission accomplished. I don't.
Yeah. I'd say they're doing a heck of a job in it. That's the one thing they are doing a really good job at is making sure people don't care about it, but still just disappointing to see how it all went down and everything. But either way, folks, we'll get to your chats and a lot of things because I know we got a lot to get to here on the show today. But of course, we want to do a little best and worst of the weekend action, and we present it by our friends over at Looper Auction and Realty. Why wait months, even years, to sell your home the traditional way? At Looper Auction and Realty, they offer a faster and smarter option, which is sell your home at auctions. Auctions are fun, not only because they're fun to go to and fun to see how it happens, but it also gives you the best price and the best way to sell your home. No repairs, no contingencies, no drawn out negotiations. You set the terms, the buyers compete for it, and then you walk away with a firm closing date. Whether it's your home, an estate, or investment property, the auction method puts you in control and gets it sold fast. So call Looper Auction and Realty at 479-996-4848, or you can visit their website at looperauction.com. It's Looper Auction and Realty, sold in 30, closed in 30. So we'll do some of these, and of course we'll get to more of your chats too, and breaking that all up and everything. But guys, I will say though that my best of the weekend too, maybe not sports related, but just one of my things of just kind of having a nice, relaxing, chill weekend. I know the weather was tough, and hopefully everybody stayed safe out there and everything. But it was just nice to kind of just watch some things and check out some other things for a change, catch up on a lot of the other stuff too. And I know the baseball team ended their series against A&M, which we'll talk about on Friday. But my best of the weekend was just having it to where there wasn't this on edge, big tension. What's going to happen here, or these games that are so intense and it ruins your day or anything like that. It was just really nice, really chill. And I appreciate it. It was a good Easter weekend, which hopefully everybody else had a good Easter weekend. But honestly, that was my best, is just having that, feeling that, and being able to just, restart the engines a little bit to get ready for, I'm sure, what will be another crazy, crazy week as it goes.
It's hard for me to transition from my vibes getting ruined talking about this football situation to the best of the damn weekend.
That's what we do, man. We got, it's just a little energy shot.
I don't know.
John's point, whenever you get the baseball series loss out of the way early, it allows you to have so much free time on the weekend. So more silver linings.
I enjoyed hanging out with Andrew a little bit Saturday, watching the NBA playoffs. That was nice. NBA playoffs in general. I mean, I'll tell you what, and I did this this morning, the heavy hitters, but how about the Razorback boys, the OKC Thunder? What they did to Memphis, and honestly, they should probably be investigated for those crimes, but that was pretty cool. And I know those guys just played roles in that game, but hey, man, like Isaiah Joe hit a couple threes in the playoff game. Jalen Williams doing his thing where he just kind of stuffs the stat sheet in all kinds of different spots there. So that was really cool to see. A bunch of, former Razorbacks represented in the NBA playoffs. They should have played Anthony Black more than they did. That irritated me. Did we see some Jordan Walsh tick at the very end of the game?
I forgot to check for that. I'm sure he got in at the end there.
Yeah, so a lot going on. Wasn't a banner day at the office for Bobby Portis, but you know, a lot of Razorbacks out there in the NBA playoffs. That was cool, and I just I'm having a hard time not falling in love with OKC, man. I mean, they're really fun.
They bullied the bully yesterday, man. They absolutely screwed them. I think it was the biggest game one victory ever, 51 points. That's unreal. And it was really like it was a lengthy, it was like 78-36 at one point. Like it was never close at any point in the game. Pretty wild. Moses Moody also had, like, I don't know what he finished with, maybe 7-8 points. But he hit a huge mid-range jumper into shot clock down the stretch, and then hit a huge corner three, which kind of ended up being a dagger. They ended up winning by 10. But man, the Rockets, that was disappointing from the Rockets. We just can't score, man. Steph Curry is our father. Just straight up, Steph Curry owns the Houston Rockets forever, runs the franchise. It's crazy. You know, we talked about being able to watch some other sports this weekend. My best of the weekend, guys, I don't know about you. WrestleMania dominated my household yesterday. I watched a little bit Saturday and was kind of like semi tapped in. And Saturday, they do a 2-day WrestleMania event now. The main event on Saturday was, I guess it was Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and somebody else. But it was like a triple threat thing, and Seth Rollins ended up winning. Paul Heyman hit the low blow on Roman Reigns. Classic, you know, what's the term I'm looking for? When you turn on someone, not a heel turn, but like, I'm trying to think of the terminology here. But anyways,
I don't know, man.
Saturday was great. The main event with John Cena kind of sucked. John Cena kind of ruined WrestleMania, if I'm being honest with you. I wasn't thrilled about his match. He got some help from Travis Scott. I don't know if y'all heard about that. Travis Scott came in and completed his story with Cody Rhodes, helped John Cena win the belt, win number 17. But it was a fun event, man. WrestleMania is always a cool thing. The pageantry, it felt good to get back in that mix.
Hey, somebody said watching John Cena at WrestleMania last night was like watching Aaron Rodgers with the Jets. Can we confirm?
Yeah, no, he's mega washed, dude. He's mega washed, and like the match just wasn't that good. And I don't know. Like he ended up winning, but it just, like, the Travis Scott thing was fine. People were very upset about it, but I don't know. It was an anticlimactic finish. The way it was is night one of WrestleMania was mostly mid, but the main event was awesome. And then night two, everything was awesome. The main event was mid.
Yeah.
Well, all I saw, I didn't watch any of like the actual broadcast, but I did see the fact that you had Stone Cold Steve Austin driving in on a 4-wheeler, and that's all I care about.
Almost killed a woman.
Smashed the barricade, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
hey, that lady was mad, dude. They got knocked over.
Well,
also, do y'all remember that time that there was a custody battle on Raw between Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio? Do y'all remember that? Back in the day, it was like 2005. They had a custody of Dominic ladder match. Well, that's kid, Dominic, has grown up now. He's now 28 years old. And last night, he won the Intercontinental title. He actually had one of the better moments of WrestleMania. Here he is now winning the Intercontinental title.
He's the one that's got the two girls fighting over him, right?
Yeah, he was with Rhea Ripley, and then now he's with Liv Morgan. It's a big deal, man. And apparently he has a real wife in real life that is not either of those women. I found this out last night. But it was just cool to see Rey Mysterio's kid out there. I mean, there's always the wrestling. I mean, Cody Rhodes is obviously Dusty Rhodes' son, Randy Orton. Like, there's a lot of legacy stuff going on. Dominic Mysterio winning the Intercontinental title, that should mean something, even if people aren't really tapping in with wrestling these days.
Well, moving to the worst of the weekend, and then we'll get to your chats, folks. Worst of the weekend for me was just the realization, and shout out to my guy, Billy Lucci of Texags. Good friend, good guy. But after Arkansas lost that series to the Texas A&M Aggies, which again, we'll talk about in depth. But he tweeted out, he said, that's also a sweep in the big three sports this year of A&M over Arkansas. And it really just made me sad and pissed. It's like, yeah, it was. Lost in football, lost in basketball, and lost in baseball. And each one of those games, it's crazy. Arkansas had a good chance to win, good chance to win football. Good chance to win basketball, a good chance to win baseball, but good chances don't always mean wins. And it just was really depressing to see that and losing to A&M in the big three sports. So to me, it was that realization for me was the worst of the weekend, knowing that we got to wait another year of sports at Arkansas before we can see if Arkansas can right the ship against the Texas A&M Aggies, because losing to them just really pisses me off. I was very upset on that for that reason and for others, but that was the worst of the weekend for me.
Yeah, that's tough, actually. I didn't realize that until you just, dang.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, man, every time I start bouncing back, I get put in a bad mood. This is nuts, man. It wound up being a tougher Monday than I expected. Yeah, that's brutal. Worst of the weekend for me, I don't know. I was going to talk about the Woo Pig weekend that just wasn't a thing, but we've already gotten into that. The Pope died. That's sad.
Yeah.
You know,
JD Vance killed the Pope, they said.
JD Vance dropped Ohio State's trophy, and then did y'all see that?
Yes. Yeah.
Those things would probably be up there. My St. Louis Cardinals, just nobody expected them to be good this year, but they kind of fooled some folks early. The offense was really rolling, and they were playing well. It's that's fallen apart a little bit. They struggled with the Mets this weekend. Went to do my Easter dinner tradition at Cheers. Really excited about that. They usually have a special menu, like an Easter menu. And they had like these, it was like fried pork chops and, get some mashed potatoes, some mac and cheese. Like, it was just an old down home meal. And I ordered it and they didn't have it. And I was like, what do you mean? It's Easter. How do you not have your Easter special on Easter? What are you talking about? You ran out of pork chops. Pork chops are on your regular menu. Where'd they all go? So that kind of frustrated me, man, because I've really been talking them up. But I wound up getting a steak instead, and it was really, really good. I got to admit. So they made up for it. But I was down and out. Like, I didn't talk to Michelle for like 8 minutes of real time. I was pretty upset. But
I know you're telling the truth. I know exactly. I can already envision, like in my brain, like what your vibes were like in those 8 minutes.
It was tough, man.
Tough, but I'm glad you ended up getting a steak.
Serious mental gymnastics to get over it, honestly. But I'm good. It wound up being a good meal.
I said before we started the show that I wasn't going to do anything Arkansas related for my best or worst of the weekend. I'm changing my mind. Good Lord, dude. Okay. So like, look, I want to be careful with what I'm saying here, because I'm really not trying to like shit on the fans and say, hey, you guys shouldn't be upset about stuff. Like, I'm okay with the general concept of something good happens in sports, we're happy. Something bad happens, we're sad. But I got to say, dude, like, I think I really don't know if like I'm dealing with like fake reverse jinxing or like superstitious fan base or what. And John, I think you can attest this because you were at Bomb this weekend. You would have thought, Curtis, I'm not joking. You remember the vibes that we felt whenever Arkansas lost to SEMO last year? Yeah. It felt like that at Bomb, dude. I'm talking about like this fan base is defeated, bro. I mean, literally, and I see, let me pull it up because I mentioned on Bombastic yesterday that I was going to tell this story about the fan coming up to me about Ryder Helfrich. Me and John have been laughing about this. This dude gets in my face and puts his finger in my chest, like does the like doing that motion, and he's like, Andrew, I'm here to tell you, worst catcher Arkansas's had at this university in 10 years. He was like, this guy doesn't deserve to be back there, and like really like getting like to the point where like there was like Stu Hogg was there with us, John was there. I thought John was about to have to like step in and like break us up for a second, because like he like got in our faces, and he like kind of was like going back and forth between me and John, but he kind of like was getting confrontational about Ryder Helfrich sucking. I always joke, I'm like, dude, Razorback fans hate Ryder Helfrich, and I've kind of been joking about that because I thought that since he started hitting, like, people had come around. No, man, dude, they still hate Ryder Helfrich, but it's crazy like how many people have like legitimately closed the book on the season. And I get it, like, they lose. That's now back-to-back SEC series. You've lost 4 of your last 5 SEC games. Like, oh man, like this is, there's a tough schedule coming up. It's time for this group to dig deep and find out who they are, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's crazy how many people like really, and again, I don't know for sure if it's like a joke or if like it's just kind of fans doing mental gymnastics to try and talk themselves in. But like I did a Bombastic yesterday to try and talk about it just because I wanted to get the temperature of the fan base. None of the questions and like none of the chat, and like, we make fun of the chat a lot, but it wasn't even like a, man, Andrew, I like this team, but I just don't know if the starting rotation is good enough. Do we really have that guy? It's just like, we don't have the pitching. Nate Thompson still sucks. The hitting's still bad. And it's like they're not even talking about individual stuff. It's just like, we're done. Maybe next year. We got to recruit pitchers better. Blah. And it's like, God, dog, bro. Y'all really don't see a path forward for this baseball team? Like, I'm not saying they're guaranteed going to win the national title, but it's like, y'all don't see how it like could end up still going very well for this team.
What were they when the polls came out today?
5.
5.
5. They're 13-5 in the SEC. They're in second place.
Trash. Garbage.
16 teams. And by the way, I want to talk about the pitching for a second, because I talked about this on the show yesterday. We all agree the pitching for Arkansas has been, I would say, the biggest disappointment, where, you just haven't really gotten Zach Root, pretty good arm, haven't gotten the best stuff out of him. Landon Beidelsheets, he's been fine. Haven't really gotten the best case out of him. You can even go on down. Christian Fouch, of course, hasn't been great. Gage Wood's been banged up. Parker Coyle's been banged up. All that being said, and by the way, all those names I just listed are all going to be key arms for Arkansas down the stretch, who could very well do the Nelly Davis thing, could very well do the Jonas Adu thing, but people don't want to hear shit like that. All that being said, here's where Arkansas ranks pitching staff in the country. 12th in ERA, 2nd in strikeout to walk ratio, 10th in strikeouts per 9 innings, 5th in whip, 3rd in walks per 9. They're also 6th in fielding percentage, which of course is not hitting. Arkansas basically is one of the top 10 defensive teams in the country, on top of being like a top 2 offensive team in the country. Not saying, hey, they're guaranteed, like they're going to just win out from here and they're going to be fine. But I feel like their demise has been greatly exaggerated. And that's coming from someone who greatly exaggerates literally everything.
Well, I will say I've added Ryder Elfrick to the list, so no slander.
Freaking relax on Ryder Elfrick, dude. Relax on the guy.
Yeah. Let it go on that. But yeah, that was like the interaction with the fan and everything. It's one of those deals to where I could tell, I feel like I could kind of sense things. And I sense how that was going to go. So I didn't step in necessarily in that way, but I was kind of like, well, some people say that, well, because I could tell Andrew was getting for you, like in the way. I was like, I'll just you stand over here, man. Let's talk over here instead. We don't need to go down that road. But yeah, that was quite the thing. But a heck of a Woo Pick weekend, I tell you.
Just not one for the record books.
No, not one that's going to be too memorable for sure. But we'll go ahead and get into the chat, folks. Appreciate everybody tuning in, listening with us. And of course, our Vibe Check is presented by our friends at Basis Health, where they're changing the way healthcare is delivered by providing mobile medical visits at the comfort of your very own home. A doctor will come to your home for urgent care, primary care, IV hydration, and so much more. It's Basis Health, where they are there when you need them and where you need them the most. You can learn more about basishealth.org, as they got it going on with the forward thinking when it comes to taking care of business and making sure that you are good to go when it comes to your healthcare. So, all right, getting into a few of the chats, folks. We'll try to get at least to the good ones. Shout out to Phoebe, who says, growing up, going to football games with my dad and seeing him be so frustrated but so loyal to UARK, then passing that same stubborn optimism to me as a student is so bittersweet. Yeah.
I bet a lot of people feel that way.
Exactly. Like, I think back to like my brother. I don't have kids, but my brother has 4 boys, and I'm just wondering if they become like true Razorback fans too. Is it going to be the same thing? I feel like it is. Like they're going to have some big heartbreak or some disappointment that ends up coming up here soon. So let's see. Also, Woo Pick Wayne says, could it have been that they didn't want other programs to see the good players and try to poach them into the transfer portal? Talking about the spring game.
Well, first of all, like the game wasn't going to be televised or streamed or anything. Like, we think other programs are so, worried about Arkansas's players that they're going to send spies over to the spring game to poach them. Then maybe, but
yeah, I don't know. That would be that'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know about I think that's talking about something that's overblown. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen a little bit, but I also don't think like it's as intense of like, oh, we got to do this, and people are going to be watching this, and they'll suddenly be like, oh, this guy can play. Like, they have no idea he's the best kept secret ever. But if we let people see him play in a practice, then they'll come get him. I just think that that's a very overblown thing. Austin from work, which is not the guy that we met, Andrew, at the baseball game.
Yeah, we met a guy named Austin. I was like, you think that's Austin from work?
Yeah, no, it was not. It's a different Austin. But he says, am I the only one who feels like I should be ready to talk about these football transfers from the weekend, but still can't get up for it? Maybe we're just a basketball school now. Maybe. I feel like you've been a basketball school, and I feel like it is a basketball school. But no, I get it.
I liked a couple of those additions, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like they really felt like they need to go and get some depth and some help on defense. And they get 4 guys over over the weekend, but I've been like, say what you want about the secondary or whatever, but the defensive line's been just a big problem issue, in my opinion, since the last portal window opened. So going out and getting the Phillip Lee dude out of Troy, he's good. You know, like as far as the spring portal window is concerned, he's one of the better guys in it. And so I think that would be a decent enough addition for him. But I don't know a whole lot about those guys in the secondary. The one that was he was at Stanford and then Fresno, I think, seems to be a pretty good player. But I was impressed with the Phillip Lee kid from Troy. I think it's a good pickup for him.
Yeah. That's going to be a part of my heavy hitter here coming up here soon too, is dealing with one of those guys for sure. So, but we also have, I just like this from Witty. It said best of the weekend. Don't remember any of it.
There you go. Witty. That's a good one.
Yep.
That a baby.
Yep. Glad that you could have that for you.
Oh, I had another best of the weekend.
What's up?
Can I save? Maybe I'll save that for my heavy hitter. I don't know if it would make sense.
Yeah, you can force it.
Yeah, I'll save it for my heavy hitter.
There you go. Yeah.
Right.
It's just force it when it comes up. Our guy Finch says, just got a chance to hop on, so I have to go back and listen. Just wanted to say it was nice to meet y'all at Alumni Hall and get to mess with y'all in person instead of just giving grief online. Yeah, it was good to see you, Finch.
Finch, we were talking about you after the show with the folks at Alumni Hall and how sometimes the character in the chat does not match the person in real life. And that can go in two different ways. You know, he's like the most normal person in the world. Then you know, in the chat, then you meet him in real life and you're like, wow, it seems like maybe a little kind of a strange person. And then the people in the chat that you really think are out there, they come with the heaters or very outspoken or different or whatever. And then you meet him, it's like, wow, this is like the most normal person I've ever met. And I kind of felt that way about you, seeing you there, because in the chat sometimes I'm like, man, this dude might be crazy. And then we saw you in there at Alumni Hall. I was like, oh no, this actually just seems like a great guy. You know, this is wild.
I don't know if there's been anybody that I've been like stunned meeting them where I'm like, oh, they're different than I thought.
I've been that way with several. That's why I just said it. But yeah,
I'm trying to think of someone who like really like, because I feel like Witty was like I feel like I had a good grasp on who Witty was.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But like, I'm trying to think of who maybe surprised me a little bit.
Well, I'm just gonna say he's not gonna say it, but I'm gonna say it. Curtis. Remember when we talked about how, like, have you ever had somebody come up to you and like was almost like nervous to talk to you and was almost like over the top or a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Ellis had that happen to him at the Razorback baseball game and two females, and one was a mother-daughter, and the daughter was just nervous to even come up and say anything to Andrew, so the mother did for her, and I'm like,
that might have been the best moment of the weekend. That was probably one of the good interactions. That might have been the only good interaction we had at Bomb. Because the mom she was funny and she like kind of like gave me a little like shove and she was like, oh, Mr. Bombastic, and gave me like a little shove, and I kind of just laughed it off. And then she walked off, and then she came back and she was like, my daughter was a little bit nervous. She didn't know if she could say hi, but you know, she thinks y'all are friends. And I'm like, oh yeah, we are friends.
Yeah. It's a really cool moment for that.
I like that.
Yeah. But yeah. And also Finch too, he said, I also tried shooting John a DM to get y'all to come over to lot 40 or lot 500 in between the baseball games for some lot beers, but failed to get him to open it.
Wow. What did you DM him on? Because
I'm about to say, dude,
don't DM me on Instagram. I'm never gonna open a DM on Instagram in time.
Same.
Yeah. Well, if you did, I apologize. And yeah, I'd like to know which platform it was on, because I try to at least find if any DM like that is coming through to at least respond. So I apologize if I didn't see it, but appreciate the offer anyways. It's the thought that counts, Finch. The thought that counts. Let's see. Trenton says, Curtis, is Darian Williams most likely going to the NBA, or do we have a chance?
He's not going to the NBA, and Arkansas doesn't have a chance.
There it is.
There you go. He will be playing basketball at a college not named Arkansas.
That's right. Matthew Moss here, which I'm pretty sure, is he the Kentucky fan? One of them. But he said Kentucky just signed the Gator guard.
Saw that. Interesting move.
I've seen very like conflicting. Like I've seen that even just in the chat here alone. I've seen some people be like, "Oh yeah, they got that guy that averages 5 a game at Florida," and then I've seen some people being like, "Damn, Kentucky got another dude," and I don't know where they're getting that information from.
I think he's a hell of a player. I mean, you're the sixth man on a national championship team. He played 20 minutes a game for him. If he was Walter Clayton, he would have played above Walter Clayton. So I think he was in position to probably be a starter for the defending champs. And then he dipped, and now he's going to Kentucky to be a role player just like he was last year. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, I guess, but they're probably paying him a bunch of money,
Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing. But they're getting a lot of guys who are very athletic and better defensively and just far less proven shooters than they had last year. The Kentucky's roster is going to look completely different than it did a season ago. We'll see if it's a good thing or not for Pope, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either. And I was actually, someone asked me this question just in the SEC in general, which I know some rosters are still trying to get put together, and Arkansas being one of them. But it's like, Florida just won the national championship. Is it weird that some, and maybe when I say some, me, like, I don't know if you're talking about what SEC team would be the next one to win a national championship, or what team is in the best position moving forward? I mean, is it Todd Golden in Florida? Like, even though they just won a title, like, are they the ones that's still in the best position, or is it Bama or Auburn or Arkansas? I don't really know, but it's just that whole Florida thing is going to throw me in a loop where I'm like, Todd Golden in Florida? I mean, they just won it, so you got to give it a lot of credit and praise and everything, but are they set up for being there again and set up for making another run here soon? I don't really know.
Yeah, maybe. It's so tough, man, because on one hand, they've got all those dudes coming back in the front court that was so good, but you lose all your guards. And then the one guy that you thought would just be able to be like the natural next man up to step in is gone too. So it's like it's going to be a whole new backcourt. I see Jeff in there said Tennessee, but like Ziegler's gone, Mashak's gone, Milicic is gone, Chaz Lanier's gone. You know what I mean? Like that whole roster's gone. All of Alabama's guys left. All of Auburn's guys left. All of Kentucky's guys left. They got a brand new team. Like Arkansas is the one team that was good last year that's actually returning dudes. But I feel like they got more work to do. I don't know, man. It's SEC is going to be interesting.
And that's kind of what I keep coming back to, where I'm like, I'm sure you can go out there, you can make a case for a roster out there that you think is definitively like just super well-rounded and comfortably better than Arkansas. You could maybe find a couple, and I know some people are going to throw out a few. I just don't look around and see that many teams that have rosters that are just like super well-rounded and like that I'm very confident are going to be elite start to finish rosters. And I'm not even saying Arkansas necessarily has that, but I do think Arkansas is like one move away from that. And so I really think Arkansas is in a much better position than maybe some fans give them credit for.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I'm the same way, where it could be, I don't think anybody predicted Florida to win the national title preseason this year. Like no one did. And so it could be something like that again next year, where it's a team that maybe people think are good. Maybe it's a tournament team. Maybe they could do something. And then you see them on the court, you see their building, you see what they're doing. You're like, oh, geez, this team might be legit. And who knows? Maybe it could be Arkansas. Let's see a few more chats here, because I know we'll get into our heavy hitters. But Evan says, talking about the spring game, he says, yeah, that was incredibly disappointing. One of the few free Razorback events. Yeah, which is, I get it. Totally get it. Yeah, because there's not many free stuff getting thrown around there in the athletic department. That's for sure. So Ben says, good afternoon, fellas. It's good to meet you on Saturday at the baseball game, John. Yeah, it was good to meet you too, Ben. Appreciate it, man.
Yes, this is the guy with the famous uncle.
Yes. And it's not it's a different Z, not Big Z, but the other Z that we know and love here at Arkansas that's been around for a while. So yeah, it was good to see you, Ben, and good to meet you too. So Addison says, yo, Andrew, I sent my Aggie buddy a clip of you on Inside Arkansas a few weeks ago saying Texas A&M baseball sucks eggs, and now he's letting me hear it. LOL. Although
I feel like I do remember coming to A&M's defense early in the year when people were like doing a victory lap over, and they're like, oh, A&M, they're going to miss the tournament. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like they're probably going to still be pretty good. But I'm sure I did say they sucked eggs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they sucked eggs at the time. Yeah. It's not like you just threw it out there for no reason.
Are you sure you said eggs?
I don't know. Suck eggs is sounds like my terminology.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what. They did, and they did. In fact, that's a nice little transition here as we'll get to more of your chats books here in a bit, but we'll do your Alumni Hall question of the day, presented by Alumni Hall here in Fayetteville, which we had a great time being out there Friday. Appreciate everybody coming in out and hanging out and getting to meet some of you there. And we're going to be back there next month. In fact, the Friday of the Tennessee series, which will be the last regular season baseball series for the Razorback baseball team, will be there that Friday at noon again. So come on out and see us. We'll be doing some giveaways and everything. But great spot, great Razorback apparel and everything. I had that DJ Wagner jersey. Going to hold on to that one for at least a year. So they have jerseys for basketball, baseball, and have football, polo shirts. They got it all. So check them out today. You can go and shop them in store at 3417 North College Avenue, or you can shop them online at insidearkansas.com/alumni hall. Use that promo code HOGSBY20 for 20% off your purchase. So, all right, guys, it was just simply when we talk about the baseball team, the level of concern that Razorback baseball fans have right now. And of course, when I throw something like this out there, I'm going to make sure to give all the choices I possibly can, which is only 4. But it's simply very concerned, pretty concerned, little concerned, or not at all concerned. And as of right now, 45% of you say a little concerned, 29% of you say not at all concerned, and then 20% of you say pretty concerned, with only 7 saying very concerned.
Interesting.
So, yeah. Sometimes
I think they got it right. A little concerned is probably like the right where to be. I'm surprised by those results.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's just a matter of, people you don't do the replies. If you just do something that people can click and there's not any way to get back on them and it's really easy for them to do, you got to get more of a pulse. You got to get more of an accurate number instead of just, Homer and Jethro yelling in the replies at each other. So, but yeah, I mean, I feel like that's legitimate and that's okay. If you're if somebody tells me that they're a little concerned right now with baseball, I'm not going to be like, oh, you're an idiot. You should just, what are you talking about? Everything's fine. Like, no, there's some reasons to be a little concerned, but also I don't think it's just like season's over, team sucks, Van Horn, never going to get it done. Like, just, you can be somewhere in there. All right. That's all it is.
Curtis, where are you at on the chart?
Probably a little concerned, but I'm very much one of those who's in the camp of I don't care until postseason. As far as like, I'm not going to overreact to anything or really react at all to anything until they get in there and we see what it looks like. But yeah, a little concerning for me. I think they're going to be just fine though. I would actually register a higher amount of concern, like if they struggle this weekend. And I'm not in the camp of some who's like, they really need to go sweep Florida, but I think they do need to go play well and like have that kind of, let's remind everybody who we are kind of series. That doesn't even mean a sweep, but I'd like to see them go down there and win that one. And I think people would feel a lot better about things then.
That would be a bigger and more important series win than people would realize. Like, they went out there and won 2 or 3. I'm sure there'd still be some that were like, it's Florida. What are they, 4-12 an SEC player or whatever. It's like, that Florida team's fighting for their damn lives. Kind of like this A&M team was. Like, for instance, that A&M team needed that series win a lot more than Arkansas did, and credit to them. They went out there and got it. I would like to see Arkansas play with some of that desperation, although they're not in a desperate situation. What I keep coming back to with this team is like, they just have a very clear path to fix their issues. Whereas past years, I just don't think they did. In 2023, that pitching staff was so banged up. Yeah, John Bolton starting a shortstop, Parker Rowland starting a catcher. It really was hard to imagine that they were just going to become a juggernaut overnight. Mm-hmm. Even last year, a team that just really didn't have a ton of firepower offensively, you can't really fix that issue halfway through the year. You can't just become a powerful lineup. This Razorback team is a powerful lineup. This Razorback team has arms, has big time arms that you can't really they don't grow on trees. You can't get 2 right-handed pitchers that throw 100. You can't get 2 left-handed starters that have over 200 career innings under their belt. Arkansas has that. They just need some of those guys to pitch better. I think a game that we always play is we say, do we have enough arms? Does this team have enough arms? And that's not the right question to ask with this Razorback team. Because, they have enough. They have Rue, Gackel, Bybee, Coyle, Carter, Jimenez, Wiggins, McIntyre, Fouch, Wood. There's 12 dudes that are all have pitched at a high level and you think you can count on. But when you get into the postseason, it really trims down to who are the 4 to 5 guys you really trust. Think about that NC State series that Arkansas lost. How many arms did Arkansas face? 5 total? And it was really just 2 or 3 that held them down. They had 2 really good starters. They had that lefty out of the bullpen who gave them 6 innings in the final game. It really comes down to, hey, the season is on the line. What arm do you go to? I don't care what 9 arms you have. I don't care how deep your bullpen is. The game's on the line. Who are you going to? And I think Arkansas kind of has to figure that out a little bit. But they have plenty of options. But I just see such a clear path to Zach Root pitches better. Gage Wood gets back healthy and starts throwing the ball well. We saw Gabe Gackle throw the ball really well. I thought that was an important development. I think there's a very clear path to them shoring up a lot of their issues, whereas in past years with some of these other teams, I don't really think they had a realistic path to fix their issues. Definitely not last year.
No, I mean, I feel the same way too. It's like I feel good about what the potential is still there. It's not like, okay, well, this is the best we're going to see. But with this Florida series coming up, which I know they have the midweek, but with the Florida series coming up, you just don't want to have 3 straight SEC losses. Like 3 straight SEC series losses, and especially when you got teams called Texas, LSU, and Tennessee on the schedule coming up. Like you just don't want to put yourself in that position. So it'd be really cool if you guys could win this series against Florida. That's what I'll say. It'd be a really nice gesture if you could make that happen. And let that way when Texas comes to town, it'll be really fun. People will be riding something instead of crap, we suck. This is terrible. No, we don't like anybody. So let's just hope that happens. Let's do that. I'll tell you, let's keep it moving here as we'll get into our heavy hitters presented by our friends over at HD Roofing and Construction. Storms can hit unexpectedly. Be sure to contact HD Roofing for peace of mind with a free inspection, which I know a lot of you went through a lot of storms this past weekend. I mean, it was crazy seeing some of the damage that was done and scary stuff around there. And it's not just in one part of the state, it's across the state, so many places. Well, let HD Roofing help you out by giving you that free inspection and getting the job done and job done right, especially here locally in the state of Arkansas. When you choose HD Roofing, you can rely on professionalism, top quality materials, expert installation for all of your roofing needs, and they will get it done. So contact them today at 501-428-0429. You can also visit their website at hdarkansas.com. Okay, so for our heavy hitters, I'll go ahead and kick it off with, Arkansas had some players that got added, the transfer portal for the spring portal for Razorback football. Basketball has been the big hot topic of when it comes to the portal, but Arkansas did get a few of them out of the football side of things, and some nice additions. But I'm going to give a shout out to the Julian Neal kid, the kid from Stanford, the guy that was one of the higher ranked players in the transfer portal. I know that sometimes it's hard to talk about positivity and everything with the Razorback football team, but that was a legit good get. Like, you need help in the secondary, you need help in a lot of positions, but being able to put together a nice little complementary pieces to add to that depth on defense, which you desperately need, especially in the secondary, especially at a cornerback position, to get somebody who is 6'2", 205 pounds, who's played, in major college football. And I know you say, oh, well, Stanford, well, they still are going up against some really good teams and things like that. And so I don't know, is he going to come in and be a lockdown corner that's going to be the guy that's going to get drafted in the first round of the NFL draft? I don't know. That'd be really cool if he did. But what it is, it's just a matter of getting a complimentary piece. And you needed help. You got some help. I know the other guys are good too. I know you mentioned the Philip Lee kid, Curtis, but it was just nice to see them do some nice things and get some nice help out in the depth side of things too. And he is a heavy hitter. I've watched some of his highlights. He's a dude that can hit, and which is also a really good thing to have, and a really smart player. So shout out to Sam Pittman. Shout out to the defensive staff getting a few important portal pieces, but especially Julian Neal, the transfer out of Stanford.
Shout out to Remy Cofield. He's surfaced, baby. I'm telling you, man. Sam is he's selling the football thing. He's sending them down the hall to Remy, and he's closing the deals, man, with the NIL. Some people say he's not real because we haven't seen him. He's real. He's in there grinding, man. He's working. That's one of my heavy hitters is Remy. It's good to see him. Good to see him getting active out there. What they get 4 dudes this weekend? Come on now. But no, that's good, man. They needed to add some depth to the defense. They've done that. We'll see what else they wind up doing here, but that was good. Good weekend for the defensive staff there on the football front. Mine, and I meant to bring this up on the best worst of the weekend. How about Connor Vanover, man? just trolling Missouri's terrible baseball program. Hilarious stuff, man. Like he sent the tweet originally. It was like, oh, a Mizzou athletics program 0-18. Couldn't imagine that. He was literally on the one with the basketball program last year, which is just hilarious, man. And then people were dogging him, and he had the picture of himself as a pitcher for Missouri. That stuff was hilarious. We haven't seen Connor in forever. I still have his noties turned on Twitter. Like, he just tweets so infrequently that I never turned him off. And that was the only reason I knew that he was going to become a streamer or whatever after hanging up the basketball shoes. And I was seeing those come through, and I'm like, man, this is hilarious. Just crack me up.
I might actually have one of the Connor Vanover pictures of like his funny tweet.
Yeah, good.
It'll take it about 7 seconds to load up here.
Hilarious.
I've got it.
Like I respect and think it's so great if somebody can actually just laugh at themselves, especially for something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I was on 0-18, and then, even though he didn't play at Arkansas his final couple of years, it's like still a Razorback, still an Arkansas kid. So it was just nice to see him troll a little bit and have some fun with that. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on going back to the WWE but I saw a bunch of hardos in the chat really pissing and moaning about it. So I am going back. Curtis, you're going to like this as a St. Louis guy. Randy Orton made his 20th appearance at WrestleMania yesterday. They did not know who his opponent was going to be. I thought it would be someone cooler. They brought in some random schmuck I'd never heard of. It was basically a squash match. But shout out to this RKO out of nowhere.
Thrown around with abandon. He was able to hit that. It looked like he was going to the standing ovation earlier on.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Love it. There's nothing better.
Smile
He also did the thing.
Thanks for coming.
He did the thing where, like, after he finished celebrating, that guy was getting up, and Randy like helped him up, and was like, "Hey, give him a little bit of something." I couldn't find that video, but he was trying to get them, hey, cheer for him or whatever. And then as soon as the guy started feeling good about himself, hit him with another RKO, gave him a little, and then he did the little turn thing that he did and kind of made fun of him a little bit. Randy Orton played all the hits. He did the DDT. He did the whole Viper banging on the canvas thing. Hit the RKO. It was good stuff.
Did you RKO your friends back in the day? Just randomly?
I used to RKO my dog on the trampoline, dude. I used to RKO anything that would move. I used to RKO my pillow. Like I would RKO anything.
Good times.
Yeah. It's like the original meme that I remember, like a first thing. It's just seeing somebody who had put together. So I don't know if it was Photoshop or whatever it is, but just little image of, or is someone actually like falling in a viral video, but then actually doing an RKO, him coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, those are great. Those are great.
Those are outstanding. Let's see. Austin for Work actually has a heavy hitter. Says, hurts to say as a displaced Arkansan in Mississippi, but my heavy hitter would be Lane absolutely disrespecting Carson Beck's NIL deal. Yeah, that was.
I must have missed this.
So basically, what it was, he was on a podcast. I forgot whose it was. I'm going to be honest, but
was it Theo?
No, it wasn't Theo. But they were talking about Carson Beck's like $4 million deal or whatever it is down there in Miami, and he was like, "Yeah, $4 million. I mean, did they watch his game against us?" Kind of thing of like,
I did see this now.
Yeah, I was like, okay, all right. Lane taking his shots. It's what he does, man. It's what he does. He's very calculated, and it was pretty funny because I think most people are kind of like, "Yeah, you're probably right about that, Lane."
I would be outright stunned if this Carson Beck at Miami thing lends itself to like an 11-1 team that's actually good. I would be pretty stunned.
Yeah, I think everybody would. Everybody would. Austin said it was the pivot. Okay, so that's what the podcast was that he was on, is the pivot. So, that was pretty nasty work, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the honesty. It was pretty good. So, all right, a few of your chats here too. I think, Sweet Arkansas gal said, I like the fans who showed up in the Inside Arkansas merch and took the picture with John and Andrew.
That's the best of the weekend. Shout out to Jeremy Stewart and his family. That was good stuff.
Yep. He and his wife were rocking Inside Arkansas shirts that we sell underneath the Razorback baseball jerseys. And I'll be honest, like, it's really cool anytime people have bought those and everything, but to see somebody like choosing to wear it at a baseball game for no reason other than just to support us, and then not knowing that they're going to run into us, was really cool. So shout out to them, for rocking it. That was a really cool thing, and it was good to meet them as well. Finch also says, "Hey Curtis, you mentioned a minor league ballpark in St. Louis. Who's that? Whose team is that? Since Memphis is the little brother to Cards, or were you meaning Little League?"
No, like not a St. Louis affiliate, but they've got multiple independent minor league teams down there. It's like the Gateway Grizzlies play at GCS Stadium over in Sauget, right across the river in Illinois there. So yeah, so actually some really nice little small minor league ballparks down there. But no, wasn't throwing shade at the old Memphis Redbirds, but But at Lindenwood, actually, we used to play at GCS Stadium, the little minor league park over there. And and a bunch of teams played out there. Actually, some of the D1 teams played out there because all they really had other than that was the Gateway Grizzlies. It's the home of the Krispy Kreme donut burger, which is a heart attack waiting to happen, but it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Oh man, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if I have the ability to do something like that, but still. Let's see. Also, James saying this. He's like, you guys really love dogging Pittman. Makes no sense. Is he talking about us or talking about the chat? I'm saying like something I
said is I wish that he would have put out a personal statement for the thing. That's not dogging him. I just think it would have been a good look,
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. But I don't really even blame Pittman too much. In fact, I have it on very good authority that it was not Pittman who made the decision to cancel it. But I think it's more about the U of A and kind of their messaging and what they do.
Yep, because it's awful all across the board.
And we just gave them a lot of credit for their portal additions over the weekend here.
Right.
So,
but whatever. I saw somebody that was like, man, all this negativity is crazy. Just let the football season play out. And I'm like, bro, we would like to provide coverage of the football team before, but that's apparently not allowed.
No. And as I ever said, because I had somebody, this was weeks ago, but tweeted me, they're just like, are you going to say anything good about the football team or anything? I'm like, I told him, I said, tell me what it is that you think is really good and just tell me about it. And he gave me like 3 or 4 things. And I'm like, I've talked about that. I've talked about that. I've talked about that. And, and also the things like, and half of them were things that are not guaranteed to be good, just could be good, like potentially could be good. So, it's not like we're being negative for the sake of being negative, because I don't think any of us want to be negative. It's just, we're telling you like it is. Like we're telling you like what's going on and what the situation is. So, that's just the way it is. And it's okay. Because who knows? I mean, I would love to be proven wrong this football season and just everything go peachy keen and everything's great. Like I'd love for that to happen, but it just doesn't. I just don't feel like that's going to be the case.
We'll see. They got better the last 2 days.
Yeah,
right.
They definitely did that. The best fun, the most fun you have as a sports fan is whenever your team is just way better than they're supposed to be. And so I think that's like what I'm going to try and sell myself on, because Arkansas is not supposed to be good at all. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But it just sucks. Like honestly, we're more frustrated that like we just have no connection to the football team. Honestly, like we would love to cover the 3-9 football team. We would love to, but it just doesn't seem like they want to be covered.
I need to backtrack real quick though, because I didn't even answer the question that was asking me about the minor league stadiums. What I brought up on yesterday's pod at the Palace, I was talking about Easter egg hunts and adult Easter egg hunts, and went to one at one of those minor league stadiums where it's like, there would be cash money in some of these eggs, or like free beer tokens and stuff. So it was kind of cool. But that wasn't at the Gateway Grizzlies. It was at the River City Rascals ballpark in O'Fallon, Missouri. I think it's like called CarShield Field or something. So I think that's what he's referring to. That's the one, but there's like multiple little independent minor league places down there that are pretty cool. Nice little time. Take the kiddos.
An adult Easter egg hunt? That's a thing?
Oh yeah. John Neighbors haven't done an adult Easter egg hunt?
What does that mean? Like,
do I look like someone who would do that? Alley, man. Like the one that we went to was at this minor league ballpark, and in the concourse area, they had it just like, you can play bags or cornhole, whatever folks want to call it. A bunch of different games. You can spin the wheel and win prizes at different stuff. And then they're grilling out a bunch of things, and you can get drinks or whatever. And there's just Easter eggs all out, like throughout the park, and then like on the field or whatever. And they just open the gates and let you go crazy, man. And you just go get a certain amount of eggs. They're color coded very specifically. And like I remember having to find 6 particular eggs. That way I could go get a mix of 6 pack of beer. And then there were special eggs that had cash prizes and different things in them. So no, it's a whole event, man. It's a cool thing. And you need to do it. You would really love it. You would. I'll take you next year. We'll go.
Okay. I mean, I'm down to try it. I just didn't know that was a thing. Because as a kid, I'll be honest, I thought, kids love holidays and stuff. I hated Easter eggs, like stuff. I hated it. It's like, this is not worth it. Like painting these eggs, and you can't do anything with them. You just have to look at them. And then they came out with the plastic ones, and I preferred those. And then all my friends were like, "You're lame. Well, you don't want to paint the eggs." I'm like, "This is dumb. Like, I feel like I just wasted my time."
Yes.
So maybe the adult one will be better.
John Neighbors, anti-resurrection. That's crazy.
That's nuts, man.
That's why I said. That's why I made sure to say egg hunt at the end of Easter.
Jesus Christ! Wow, that's crazy.
I know, it's like you can't criticize certain holidays. You're gonna have people coming at you for that. So,
well, to be fair, your criticism like the holiday, like
yeah, it's true. It's true. I'll tell you what. We'll get into. We got about 15 minutes or so here, but we'll get to our final segment. It will. Fun recap and get to more of your chats presented by our friends over at BetSaracen and the BetSaracen app. It's the #1 sports betting app here in the state of Arkansas. They got specials for all the games going on for this week. Got NBA playoffs happening. Razorback baseball, we know, in the midweek. Of course, heading up to this weekend. You got future bets on a lot of things too. So be sure to check it out and be sure to go into BetSaracen.com if you want to get to betting that way, or you can download it on your iPhone or on your Android. It's BetSaracen, Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. So, but yeah, we'll get a few things there. Like I see, that's what I'm saying. I can't say I hate a holiday or something about a holiday, and then people just immediately think that it's it ends up being a problem. What?
I'm glad that so many people agree with me that adult Easter egg hunt is right in the John Neighbors wheelhouse.
Like, I want to know why. Like, that's the thing is like, yeah, like Kingsley's coming in. He's like, you absolutely are one to do an adult Easter egg. What
John, you go and find an egg and there's cash money in it. That's very simple.
I mean,
Yes, so like I'm learning something new every single day. But yeah, I will get to your chats. I do want to bring up a couple of videos, guys, that I really appreciate and I really enjoy dealing with sports. But I just want to play this from Ed Orgeron talking to like another guy that sounds like Ed Orgeron because I just can't get enough of it. Let us know what he says, Andrew, as a native Louisiana, and you can probably translate for us.
Les oranges longs.
Ouais,
Trop froid.
c'est pas bon?
Trop froid.
C'est trop fort.
C'est 4 degrés.
Ouais.
T'as tout tué les satsumas.
Hey, viens à Miami. C'est tout ton show.
Oh, ouais.
C'est beau. C'est tout beau.
C'est tout bon.
Ouais.
T'as une maison là-bas?
Un cadeau.
Un cadeau.
Bon, tourne mon maison ici.
Ah,
Au U-Club.
Ah, ok.
Ok. Va rester ici.
Tu vas rester ici.
Ouais.
Et quand ils vont faire celui-là, là, s'en aller, ils vont te engager.
Ouais, mais ça coûte trop à Miami. Oh non. I can't afford that. Jacques can afford that. I can't afford that.
All right, so
I mean, like there was some French mixed in there, right?
It was all French. I was just trying to say, like, but even if it wasn't French, could you really tell? Like, could you really be like, oh, I know what they were saying? Like, come on.
Heard a lot of O's in there. I've heard there was like a Sash Swan or something. There was some names. There were some city names or something, location names that were dropped in there.
Can't afford that. That's all I heard.
Made sure to drop the English for that one. Okay, about that, Bo.
I think I heard Satsuma at one point.
Yeah, in Miami. He kept talking about Miami. So
This is not breaking news necessarily, but I just wanted to throw it out there because I've been trying to tell people this is going to happen. I'll give Jeff Goodman credit for accurate reporting, but he just put out, and I'm going to go listen to this later, but he said, not everybody's going to want Chad Baker-Mazara, but there are teams that are calling on him, including Arkansas, Kentucky, Ole Miss, and Providence. So there you go. Some people thought we were crazy. We were like, listen, Arkansas is going to be in on this dude. They are. And there you have it. You got it from somebody else.
I also like that list of suitors out there. Cause I mean, one, Kentucky just got a guard. They've got pretty much a full roster.
Man. Goodness. Yeah.
Ole Miss. I mean, I don't know. Ole Miss maybe would be the team to worry about there. We did have a good time in Providence. We know it's a good place to live, but
we did.
I think our
money up
in that.
I think they could.
Yeah. So also, we'll get to the chats because this is a really important video that I want to play as well. I just want to know if you guys agree with this assessment. Hopefully, people can understand the humor. I'm sure they're going to say I'm immature, and that's fine. But hopefully, you can understand this particular thing from Logan Webb because I think that we can all relate.
Baumgartner, Gum, and Baumgartner.
at least 4 outings with.
I'm sorry.
At least 4 outings with 10 strikeouts and no walks. What does it mean to you to be in that list with those guys?
I'm sorry guys. Farts are always funny. I'm not gonna lie. It's anytime you're in a list.
I just he couldn't hold it in, man. He couldn't hold it in, and I'm gonna replay just the beginning of it so everyone can hear. I mean, you hear exactly what he's referring to and why he's laughing.
With Bumgarner, Gum, and Pondar for at least 4 outings with.
I'm sorry.
Here's the thing: is everybody has their own feeling on what's funny and what's not, and humor and all that. But I'm like, you know what? I'm one of those. I'm one of those guys that I agree with him. Farts are always funny. So
Farts always get a little giggle, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There's times where farts aren't funny, you know, whenever you don't want to be farted on, but just the noise, it's always a good time.
That's pretty funny.
I feel like in that situation of you're interviewing at a locker, asking a serious question about stuff, and you say this, and then how do you not just die laughing? I mean, I get it, but it's the way it goes, man. It was just awesome. So I had to play that because it made me laugh, and I wasn't even there. And normally don't even care, but that was great. That was great. Let's see. I feel like there was a few. Oh yeah. Bo in the chat just wants to know: is this Arkansas's best chance to win the College World Series, Andrew?
It's hard to say that because they were literally like a half foot away from winning it not that long ago. So I don't know if this is a better chance than that, but I think this is a better chance than they've had in recent years.
Yeah, I would say so too. Also, Whitty, shout out to him. We were talking about the French. He said they said they love Inside Arkansas. Yeah,
I thought I was like a loose translation. I felt like that's where that was headed, but I'm glad Whitty confirmed.
Yeah. Did you guys ever have to take a foreign language in school?
Spanish,
and I struggled with it every single time.
Yeah, I took 2 years of Spanish and passed it. I don't know anything about Spanish, so
very little for me. Very little.
Yeah. I had to, because when I was in junior high, you were able to take either Spanish, French, or some random one where I was like, who chose that? But either way, it was German. It was German. So I didn't know which one it was. I just went to one that I felt was easiest, but it didn't matter. So, but I don't know. If you guys could learn one other language in your life, you could just learn it and it'd be easy. You only get one. Which language would you want to learn?
It'd probably be Spanish for me, even though I've taken it in high school and college and stunk at it all the time and never really made much progress. I think speaking Spanish would be, would be convenient. I think there's how many people in the U.S. speak, at least speak some form of Spanish? It's getting up to a very high number. And so it's I think it would be helpful because I feel like I encounter Spanish speakers and can't speak Spanish, but who knows?
Me and my child are going to learn Mandarin at the same time.
Yeah.
So
that'd be good.
I've heard Latin is a very difficult language, but also one that's can make you a lot of money in life.
My wife had to do Latin in school. I could be wrong.
Oh.
She's in the chat. She could tell us, but I think she did. Yeah, there we go. 5 years old.
5 years. Goodness gracious.
Okay, you better be fluent in it, Michelle, if that's the case.
Doesn't have time for us.
She definitely cheated. So
no. Oh, let's not out her for that. Come on. I'm sure she put in the work, and that's why she's fluent in it.
Hey, Brim here says you can't speak Spanish. That's what this means.
Yes. The only thing I remember is because we're mature adults when we were in school. Was it like a necesito Yokaka or whatever? And it was just I need to poop. And we kept saying that all the time. And chupos most huevos, because I think it said suck my eggs. Because we're, again, mature adults when we were.
A&M baseball team sucks?
Yeah, right. Perfect. Yeah.
Para beber una Coca-Cola.
There you go.
Like a Coke to drink.
No, the thing is they that's sometimes you'll be people be like, how do you say Coca-Cola in Spanish? You just say Coca-Cola. It's sometimes the words don't have to have a different, complete, total sounding and mean and everything too. So, Shout out to Fishman. He said, I flunked Spanish by 1 GD point. Well,
what's crazy is I passed Spanish by 1 GD point. I remember like a week before I graduated, like emailing with the professor just to make sure. I was like, hey, come on, do me a solid, bro. I don't want to go back to school.
Yeah. Well, I went from a B to a D with Spanish too. And that's where the whole smoke bomb story transpired, was because of Spanish class. So yeah, but had a tough one there too.
Is Mandarin the one where they just scream it? It's like they're always aggressive. You feel like they're screaming at you?
I feel like it is, but I don't want to say it. And then somebody who's like, I speak Mandarin, jerk face. And I don't do that. Like, but I feel like it is.
I think it's the aggressive one. Yeah. Anyway,
I feel like Russian's pretty aggressive too, though. But
yeah.
Say, yeah. There's certain languages that if I hear it and it's being directed towards me, I automatically think it's mean. Whatever they're saying is mean. And they're doing it in an aggressive way. Let's see a few more here, folks. Appreciate everybody tuning in with us, because there's going to be a lot of stuff happening here in the transfer portal. Chad Baker-Mazar is going to get everybody fired up again. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Good.
Hey guys, just embrace him. Like that's your guy. All right. Like that he is a hog. All right. Like I just need y'all to understand. And look, if he's not a hog, we'll move on. Ignore all this. But
we'll hate him again.
The guy who like has to like take 6 months to learn that you'd like Chad Baker-Mazar. Like just embrace it.
Yes. Just and own it and have fun with it, and say and convince yourself that he's going to be the one that sets you.
Oh yeah.
Quinn, don't
is laying in our
post-game chat in January and be like, I wasn't sold on Chad Baker-Mazar, but now that he hit that 3 tonight, I'm sold. Don't do that either.
Quinn just tweeted at me. He said, if he goes to y'all or Kentucky or Ole Miss, I'm going to be pissed.
Uh-oh. We don't want to piss
Providence.
And see, that's the thing. That's what you should want. You should want the team that he's leaving, his fan base, to be like panicking if he lands on your squad. That's how you should be.
You're right.
Yep. Yeah. Because it more often than not, I'm not saying they're always right, because sometimes fans are just bitter, but more often than not, fans just be like, oh, good luck with him. Guy sucks.
Right.
But it's like, but if somebody gets, somebody like, oh crap, then that's a good feeling. That's a good sign, kind of like with John Calipari that we got. Everyone's like, yeah, he's crap. He sucks. He's not any good. No, he ended up being all right. Ended up being okay. So let's see. I don't know if one of y'all highlighted this. I did not. At least I don't think I did. But it said, John, how many numbers did you pick up from flexing on Friday? Did I flex on Friday?
Yeah, you wore that. You wore the DJ Wagner jersey.
Oh, okay.
That's Fridays?
I'm tripping. Okay, yes. No, I did not get any numbers.
Also, is this like the Rod?
Dude, if it is the Rod, we got to get you on the show.
Can't be.
I wish it was, and I hope it is. I don't know if it is, but if it is, we got to get you on the show, man. We got to talk to you. Yeah. One of these days, also, BJ Young, who's in the chat, is going to one time take us up on the offer, because I want everyone to know every time we offer, it's not like we ignore anything. Like all he's got to do is just hit us up and we'll get him on the show. So I want everybody to know that, and that there's no issues there.
I want to get BJ Young's thoughts on Chad Baker-Mazar as a Razorback.
Sure be. I think it would be some pretty intense stuff. Some stuff that would be happening. That'd be awesome.
It'd be wild, man.
Yeah, have to clip that one for sure. A few other things. No, hey, see, Frank Haith is back in the mix. Dude got the job at Texas A&M, staying in the SEC, staying in the state of Texas. He's an assistant coach. Yep.
I did not see that. Wow. Yep. I didn't know he was leaving. Oh, I guess he had no choice. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yep. And it's now that's, let's see. So Missouri, Texas A&M. I feel like he was at another SEC school as like an assistant at some point, but I could be wrong. But either way, yeah. Have faith in Haith, as they say, for the assistant coaching gig for him. Also, Razorback baseball is actually going on tomorrow. And by the way, shout out everybody. It's actually Tuesday, Wednesday, right, Andrew? It's a 2-game one, right?
Yeah, 2-game.
Bark at the Park is going on. I want to give everybody the heads up. So if you're into that type of thing, it's Bark at the Park. Bring your dogs in the hog pen only. And you got to fill out the digital waiver below, and the ticket is required for you, not for your dog, but just for you to get in. So I wanted to, because I know a lot of people enjoy that and love that too. So
if you're allergic to dog hair, don't go.
Yes. Don't go to the game if dogs piss you off and you hate being around dogs. It's Bark at the Park. That's a you thing. That's a
you
you
gonna bring
problem.
your dog?
My dog?
Yeah.
He would die. Like he would just be, there'd be so many, his neurons would be hitting right and left. So it would just be almost too much for him to handle. That's for sure. I'll say this, a few things. I meant to bring this up and I forgot. So this is my bad. But shout out to Nelly Davis, put out a statement on Instagram. And, those are the people that felt certain ways about him or whatnot. But he put out this today where he says, "Thank you, Arkansas. I want to sincerely thank the fans, my coaches, and the entire community for embracing me during my time here. This past year has been an incredible experience, and Arkansas will always feel like another home for me. I'll always look forward to any opportunity to come back to Fayetteville. Sincerely, Nelly Davis."
Yeah, I like that a lot. I will also look forward to any time Nelly Davis is in Fayetteville.
Yes. Yeah. Did y'all ever see him out and about ever anywhere? I know we always see like random players out, but was he one of those you ever saw out and about?
I don't remember seeing Nelly out, actually. I'm sure he was, but I don't remember seeing him personally.
I don't think I
frequent the same places.
I was going to say, I don't think I go to the same places that Nelly goes to.
Yeah.
That's a good point too. Good point. I just, if you saw him at the Whole Foods, sometimes you see some pieces there too.
No, but who I did see at Whole Foods like right after he was announced official was Brad Calipari.
First things first. You gotta get gets that check. First one clears, got to get to the Whole Foods. Knock that out. Get the grocery shopping going. Also wanted to bring this up too. I thought this was kind of cool. They put up these on the Razorback basketball where they put out tweets saying some spring cleaning at the Marsha and Marty Martin Family Basketball Performance Center. And because you can see they added the 2025 Sweet 16 to their list, and also for the NCAA tournament appearances. And it just is a reminder of like 96 to 2021. How long you went, but then 21, 22, 23, 25 Sweet 16 appearances. So it's good to see that. Mm-hmm. But also, guys, I'm going to bring this up because it's going to piss me off and no one else is going to care. But you notice anything different about this list of NCAA tournaments? Anything stands out to you as far as the numbers go?
The color just changes at 2017.
Uh-huh.
Why does it do that?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if did they change the color officially in 2015? I don't know, but I just see this and I'm like, why? Why did you did they not make that color of stickers or decals anymore? It's dumb stuff. That's all it is.
Feels like they should have noticed that maybe after the first year they screwed it up. But
you would think. You would think. Good grief, man. That's just annoying. But all right. Also, I keep bringing up or thinking of things that I meant to bring up and I forgot to bring up. But I would be remiss so that way no one gets mad and says that I just moved on from it or I didn't care about it. But shout out to the softball team and also having a pitcher pitch a perfect game. That's pretty cool. Fifth one in program history. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's Bauerlein, right? I think is how you say your last name, just to be clear. But Reese Bauerlein. They had a couple run rule victories over Colorado State, but perfect game. I don't care if it's softball, baseball, whatever it is. It's impressive and it's really cool. So wanted to give a shout out to her.
The softball team's good on accomplishing really rare feats.
Yeah, the home run cycle. Yeah.
They've had a few perfect games though. I feel like. Well, no,
I think that was their fifth one in program history. They said so.
Yeah, 5 is a crazy amount of perfect games to have.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But then we're going to probably get the guy that comes in. Well, actually, they only play a certain amount of innings, so it's less innings in baseball, so it's a little different.
Or are you going to pull up?
Our Broken Hog says the first color is Razorback red, and the second is Razorback red. We didn't bring up the Nick Pringle thing. Did you guys see that?
I guess not.
Did he spell it Razorback?
He put his visit pics out there. It was basically like, "What's good, Razorback Nation?"
I did not see that.
And so some folks were hitting him about it, and then he tweeted back at somebody and was like, "What, you want me to pay to get verified so I can edit this?" Nick Pringle is going to be electric, man.
No, Nick, we just wanted you to.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
Yeah,
good stuff.
I did not see that. I wish I would have because that would have been something for it. But no, that was good too.
I just love it. He's like, dude, I'm not deleting this and putting it back out. I'm not paying for Twitter verification so I can edit. Just leave me alone. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that just being able to spell wasn't an option.
Yeah, he's like, it doesn't matter.
He's like, I'm definitely not going to spell this right. The only question is whether or not I'm going to edit it and fix it.
Yeah, no, that was good. And finally, stroke the GOAT. Andrew, who's your starting 5 in Star Wars? We'll just end on this one. Get out of the way.
So I got to go Chewie at the 5. Chewbacca, 5 man. I mean, I think he's like 7'11" or something like that. Like, I think the size would just be would work. Darth Vader probably at the 4. Also tall. I don't know what his canonical height is, but I feel like it's 6'8", 6'9". Like he's a big guy. Kylo Ren at the 3. You got a little bit of size. You also got some force sensitivity there. Yoda running the point makes a lot of sense. I mean, small, leader of men, experience. Luke will probably be at the 2. I'll even give you a couple bench option. I've got Boba Fett off the bench. Sniper. General Grievous, defensive versatility, I feel like would help. Several arms, length, could probably guard 1 through 5. Lando Calrissian, we got to have a black guy in there, frankly. And Lando Calrissian's a cheater and like a guy. He's a Chad Baker Mazzara type, a type of guy that maybe will throw a little bit of an elbow. Maybe will do something dirty that the refs won't catch. He will help you win a game in a way that, these other guys, these goody two shoes won't. You need some grit off the bench. But I like a bench unit with Boba Fett, General Grievous, and Lando Calrissian. So I'm going 8 deep.
Hopefully that answered your question, Stroke the GOAT. And that was pretty good for Andrew just off the fly, just rolling it out there too. So I don't know who could beat that team, but I'm sure it'd be a good one.
I mean, Chewie's busting it, dude. There's nobody on the post that's scoring on Chewie. I'm just telling you right now, that dude's not giving up buckets.
Oh, man. All right. Well, guys, any final thoughts before we roll out of here for the day?
No. I'm good.
I do want to bring up this comment from Camo Hog who says, I should have had Mace Windu because he is literally Coach Carter. Fair enough. You know what I mean? Fair enough. He could definitely be around. And I mean, he's a powerful fourth user as well. I just don't think Samuel L. Jackson is that athletic.
Yeah. I mean, he got his arm cut off. So he can't. How athletic can you be? Really, if that's happening to you.
I don't have any final thoughts other than Woo Damn Pig. The Hog is still strong, even with Woo Pig Weekend being a bust.
Yep, that's right. Woo Pig Weekend can rain on the parade of the Hog being strong, and you got to embrace it and continue to embrace it, and then continue to embrace us and support us here at Inside Arkansas, which we appreciate each and every one of you listening in and watching in. To all of our content here, be sure to subscribe to us here on Inside Arkansas on our YouTube page. You can also check us out on our social media at Inside Arkansas. Go to our website, InsideArkansas.com, and also download all of our audio podcasts wherever podcasts are found, whether it's Inside Arkansas Live, Pod at the Palace, or the Bombastic Podcast. We also have merch that's available up there as well, and it's very simple to do. Just go to InsideArkansas.myshopify.com. You can get it that way too. That'll do it for us today. For Andrew Ellis, as well as Curtis Wilkerson, I'm John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow at noon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you then.